Well done, Alice. Thank you very much. Just going 5 minutes after 6 o'clock. Glenn Wheeler here with you through until midnight tonight. Another Saturday night here in Sydney as we broadcast live and loud from Radio City. Good to have your company. The Clubhouse, of course, thanks to the 50 Up Club from now until 7 o'clock. John Paul Young, JPY, is going to join us shortly. We're going to have a chat to him about a few things. One of the great Aussie entertainers, I think, JPY, and we've got so many of them. And it occurred to me during the week, many of them who are 50 plus, but still doing great things. We're also going to have a chat to a fellow tonight who's going to tell us all about the advantages of meditation, why it's good for us, why we should do it. Auctions are happening again around town, very much in full swing right around Sydney, so we'll check in with Damien Cooley. And we'll also find out about a very unique way to be able to hang on to some of those fabulous memories you've got that are currently photos but could become portraits that are actually painted, and it won't cost you an arm and a leg. All of that to come tonight between now and 7 o'clock. Janelle Bloom will join us after 7 with My Kitchen, and then Wheeler after 8 o'clock. We're here right through until midnight. Nice to be with you.
Welcome to the Clubhouse on a Saturday night, thanks to 50upclub.com. And now, here's your host with the most, Glenn Wheeler.
Yeah, the Clubhouse, of course, thanks to 50 Up Club. And 50 Up Club has already saved some of its members hundreds of dollars on electricity and car insurance. And this year, the club has life insurance in its sights as well. Because, as we keep telling you, 50 Ups are Australia's best customers. I'm one of them. So I'm not talking about a third party here. I'm talking about us. Join now at 50upclub.com and you'll have access to the best price life insurance for the over 50s, confirmed using an independent analysis of the 14 major insurers by Rice Warner Actuaries. In fact, the 50 Up Club life insurance offer beats the premiums of all 14 other insurers surveyed by an average of, you ready for this, 32%. Quite significant. The policy is fully underwritten and includes optional total permanent disability insurance and trauma cover, and it comes from a 135-year-old life insurance provider, Noble Oak. Now, if you're not a member yet, join now and see the current offers at 50upclub.com. For more details about the life insurance offer, log on now at 50upclub.com or call Noble Oak on 1300 041 494. Terms and conditions do apply, and 50 Up Club, as a referrer, does receive commissions. During the week, I was at a function actually midweek, or in the latter part of the week, Thursday night, in fact, over there at Manly, at the School of Hotel Management and Catering. I think it's the old seminary building, St Pat's, as many people would know it. Beautiful, magnificent building there on the hill overlooking Manly, just an extraordinary place. And it was the dinner, the awards dinner actually for Variety, the children's charity, fabulous organisation, been around for a long, long time, who do great work for kids with disabilities, and who have not had the best start in life, and for many of them they'll struggle all the way through life, and not just them, but families as well who need a hand. And what Variety do is lend a hand, literally, in so many different ways by providing them with equipment, resources, scholarships, all sorts of things to give those young people the kick along that many of them need. And Thursday night was an awards night to actually acknowledge a number of people that have done great things for Variety. But at the night, it was funny how sometimes these nights work out, because at that night, as I looked around the room, I saw people there who have achieved a lot in their own right. And, we've often said on this program, particularly when we talk about 50 Up Club, that, life doesn't stop when you get to 50, far from it. And sitting in the room that night, there was John Williamson, the great John Williamson, the fabulous Maria Venuti, and a bloke who really doesn't require much of an introduction, really. If I said, who would you think of when I play this?
Love is in the air, everywhere I look around.
No prize for guessing. The great John Paul Young, folks. JPY, good evening and welcome. How are you? You there? JPY, have we got you? Speak to me, brother. He's gone all silent on us. There must be something wrong with JPY's line. Either that or he's just a little bit nervous. Let's see if he's there now. You there? No. One thing that JPY doesn't have is stage fright, so we will we'll have to go back to JPY, but let's just try one more time. You there, John? JPY, hello. No, dead as a dodo. There's nothing happening on that line, so unlike John Paul Young, who has plenty happening in his life, he's a fabulous performer. And the thing about JPY is that he just keeps on keeping on. And I thought we'd get him on the show tonight because there's a couple of things in particular I want to have a talk to him about. Not the least of which is some of his great music. Maybe this time. Let's see how we go this time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for the great JPY. I thought you got nervous.
No, we love radio.
I thought, oh, no. You know, after all these years of performing in front of the big crowds, my show was just too much for you to handle, and you ran away. Mate, I don't know whether you heard what I said there in the beginning, but, you know, Thursday night there we were at the Variety dinner, the conference, the awards night, and you've had a very, very long association with Variety and done wonderful things with that organisation. And it occurred to me that night that there's an example of a whole bunch of people, like when the Variety Club, which is what it used to be called, when that kicked off originally, it was essentially all about getting a bunch of entertainers together, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it actually it happened as you would know back in Pittsburgh in 1928, and it was a little baby girl left at the stage door whose name was Catherine, and her mother left a note on her saying that, you know, I heard entertainers are very kind people. Can you please look after my daughter? And it spread from there, you know, because they I think it was theatre owners and actors, and when they spread the word throughout America, they got so much help that they decided they better start helping other kids, and they got involved with orphanages and everything else, and that's where the whole creed came about, where they actually give goods in kind. We don't give cash variety, but we help them along the way in any way we can. Yeah,
and many of those recipients, of course, you know, so very, very deserving. There was the mum there on Thursday night with the mother of young Dallas was the mum and Emma was the daughter, and you know, I can still remember reading out the list of problems that little Emma has. Emma's 15 years of age. I thought that list of diseases and things that she's got wrong with her, I thought it was never going to end. I just kept reading, and it was like, it was unbelievable, wasn't it?
It was, and the thing that got me was Dallas, you know, her mother. Totally broke the ice by getting on the microphone and saying, unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, and then said, I've always wanted to say that. I mean, I was roaring with laughter.
Yeah, I agree, because she just brought a normalcy to the whole thing, in spite of the fact that she put her own life on hold. Not only on hold, but she's basically said, look, I don't have a career path to follow because I'm going to be a carer for my daughter forever. And that was a fabulous thing. But I wanted to have a talk to you about a couple of things. First up, though, you know, your illustrious career, because you've had a great career. And, in fact, I reminded myself of just how great your career was a little earlier today when I YouTubed Yesterday's Hero, the clip.
Oh, yes.
You must have been about 15 years of age. God, you were good looking then.
I was 24. 25, something like that, yeah.
24, and you're wandering through, it looked like the CBD in Melbourne there somewhere.
Yes, it was. I think it was, yeah.
Shooting parts of it, and the suit, the flared pants on the suit were just something else to behold. I dare say you've probably still got that suit and you still wear it, do you?
No.
No, okay.
No.
I thought as much.
I've still got the sailor's top.
Have you?
I can't get it past my shoulders. It's very topical. I mean, like back in those days, it wasn't topical, but that sailor's top was actually an Indonesian sailor's top.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be wearing an Indonesian sailor's top these days around here.
Well, you never know. We're getting closer and closer.
And I know Scotty Morrison will be sending you back very, very quickly, mate, like he's done with all the rest of them.
But as long as he drives the boat himself, I thought that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us, how did your career start in the entertainment business?
It really started because I'd moved. My family moved from Liverpool to Fairfield, and we were in a fairly new housing estate as it was then, Fairfield West, and there was nobody my age, so I used to go back to Liverpool to catch up with my mates every Friday and spend the weekend down there and then go back home. And one day I turned up and we were across the road from the Collingwood Hotel. Those in Liverpool will know the Collingwood Hotel on the Hume Highway there, and it was just a vacant bit of ground where we used to meet. And I turned up one night and there was two guys there with bass guitars and another guy saying he was going to buy some drums, and they said, we're going to form a band. And I said, well, have fun. And I basically didn't want to know, and then it dawned on me that if I didn't join them, I wouldn't have any mates.
So you quickly latched on.
That's right. They convinced me. They said, oh, you're always singing. Why don't you just be the singer and be done with it? So that's how it started. And, before long we were the biggest band in Liverpool after about 6 or 8 months, and we just kept going for a few years, and I think the big thing that happened to me was getting the chance to record that song Pasadena, and also at the same time I got a start in Jesus Christ Superstar, which started off my theatrical career, and it all sort of, I went from nothing to everything happening at once, and But it was just, it was a great start.
But part of that, going from nothing to everything at once, it's an interesting aspect to all of this too, because, life doesn't stop. We often joke about the fact that, life doesn't stop at 50. In fact, many people would argue life starts at 50. And, you're a testament to that, because you were telling me on Thursday night that, yet again, your stage routine is about to take another turn when you step up for some appearances in Grease, the musical.
Yes.
How good's that?
Yeah, that's great. It's marvellous. It's great to be able to still do things like that. And I'm not feeling too bad about it because Bert's in the show.
Yeah. But there's another example, Bert Newton.
Absolutely.
You could think of a whole raft of them. Barry Humphries, Bert Newton. There's a stack of people who are still performing and still doing a great job. I mentioned, John Williamson there the other night, and Willow loves to perform. Maria Venuti, who'll, she'd stand in a phone box and sing to nobody. She's just happy being Maria.
Absolutely.
And she's in her 70s now and proud of the fact that she's in her 70s. Age is nothing, is it? It's a state of mind more than anything else, I think.
It does seem to be that way these days. I mean, I just think I remember, when I was a kid watching Bill Haley in The Comet and thinking, God, he looks old. Even when I see that clip today, he still looks old to me. He just had a certain thing about it. But it seems to me that ever since the hippie era, we've all sort of kept a bit younger up in our heads, rightly or wrongly.
Oh, no, I think that's a good thing.
Dressed up as lambs, some of us. But I don't know about you, but I still have most of my moments, and I'm still thinking like a 25-year-old, probably to my detriment. But that's just
no, bugger it. I think it's a good thing. And the other thing too, and we did touch on this on Thursday night, because you and I share quite a, whether passion's the right word or not, but a belief that why wait until we're dead before we all gather round and say, "Geez, JPY was a good bloke."
I have a friend of mine who says, "What's the point of living till you're 95? By the time you go to the church for the service, there'll be none of your mates are going to be there."
Yeah, that's right.
And whoever is going to be there is going to say, "Well, he must have been a miserable sort of a bugger. Nobody's turned up at his funeral."
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. So why not have that party
exactly
while you're alive and get a whole bunch of people around to mix it up a bit. I mean, you can turn it into a bit of a roast, but I love the idea of being able to acknowledge people. In fact, this very day, earlier on this afternoon, I went along to the 80th birthday party of one of my aunties. And she's got 5 kids. Her husband, my uncle, died many years ago, so she's been on her Pat Malone for a long, long time. And the kids said, we're going to put on an 80th birthday party, but we're going to get all the family, the extended family, the cousins that haven't seen each other for hundreds of years and all that. So we all got together and had a great afternoon. But when they did the speeches, one of my cousins Barb said, look, I apologise now if people think this sounds like a eulogy. She said it's not. It's just that we thought that we'd say all of this stuff while Mum's still sitting here and she can hear it. Exactly what we're talking about, JPY, isn't it?
And actually brand it like this is your life.
Yeah.
You know, and do that kind of a routine, you know, for people who get old. I had an auntie, and she was gorgeous. I mean, I think in her probably from the age of 50 to the age of 70, she'd been married twice, and she used to always say to me, "I'm looking for a man with a short cough and a long bank balance." She was, and I think your sense of humour actually gets better the older you get, because you tend to be very dismissive of what young people might consider big problems because you've been through them. And I think at the end of the day, we know that things normally work out well.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think the other thing too about the way you say our sense of humour is probably gets a little bit broader and all the rest of it as we get older. I think also those of us that are smart enough realise that that clock is ticking, and whether you want to recognise it or talk about it or not, the bottom line is none of us live forever.
That's right. And so why waste your time on nasty thoughts?
Correct. Absolutely right. Now, listen, you've got, amongst all the other bits and pieces that you're always doing, you've got a gig coming up. When is it? March, April, May?
Yeah, my guitarist is a Philippine guy,
yep.
Filipino,
yep.
A Pinoy, as they say. And when that Typhoon Haiyan hit the Philippines on the 8th of November, him and the local Filipino community all got together, and they've been sending a lot of stuff over there ever since then. But the aim at the end of the day was to try and put a concert on, and we just got word the other day that we've got a date at the Enmore Theatre in mid-May. I'm not exactly sure. I won't...
No, that's fine.
We'll give the details yet, because things haven't really come to fruition yet. All I can do is confirm that I'm going to be there.
Yeah, good on you. Well, listen, what we'll do is we'll tic-tac when you've got all the ducks in order, and we'll let everybody know they can come along, and obviously it'll be a great concert as always, and a great way to support the people of the Philippines who are still obviously doing it very, very tough. Because
they do have a lot of disasters over there. You know, things are happening. I mean, Haiyan was a big one, but gee, they have a lot of problems over there, and they are the most beautiful people. They laugh, they smile all the time. They love their music. They absolutely love music, the Filipinos. So
good stuff.
I mean, I was there a few years ago, and I'd love to go back.
Good stuff, mate. And we love your music too. We love you. Right? Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
You are far from yesterday's hero. We love you, JPY. Thanks, mate.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.
John Paul Young, folks.
When I walk down the street, see the stranger...
Proving that age is no barrier to still be a great entertainment success story in this country. And as we tell you each week, if you haven't joined 50 Up Club yet, then it's simply a matter of jumping on the website and registering your details. Not hard. 50upclub.com is where you go. And if you do that, you'll then be able to find out all about the 50 Up Club life insurance offer that beats the premiums of 14 other insurers surveyed by an average of 32%. So nothing to be sneezed at for sure. 27 minutes after 6 o'clock is the time. The real estate market did not cool off over the Christmas New Year period as we forecast. It was going to just continue to bounce along. And Damien Cooley is certainly back on the job from Cooley Auctions and joins us once again to give us a bit of a wrap of what happened on the day's market around Sydney. G'day, Damo.
G'day, Glenn.
A good day, was it today?
Yeah, another great day for real estate. Some really good auctions out there today. We had a clearance rate of 74%. we took 46 properties to auction and we sold 34. So we're really pleased with the result.
Okay, has anything changed since we last spoke? Lots of bidders, strong bidding, lots of interest. Lots of pre-auction deals trying to be put together and all the rest of it.
Yep.
Has that momentum still been maintained?
Yeah, it has. In fact, the early stages probably through mid-January, we saw unprecedented buyers coming through open for inspections. And the trend from 2013 has definitely continued into 2014. And you could potentially even argue that it's stronger now than it was in November last year.
Wow. Okay. What if, and I mean, look, there's no science to this, as we know, but what are the experts or those who are, dealing in this, like yourself and others dealing in this all the time, saying in terms of when the use-by date could start to appear?
Lots of people are talking about that they see the first quarter and more than likely the second quarter of 2014 remaining quite strong. What's beyond that, there's a lot of uncertainty. I personally think we're in for a really good year for 2014 for the whole year. I mean, there's nothing immediately that's suggesting that it's going to be any different. We're seeing really good buyers coming open for inspections. There's lots of new buyers that are in the marketplace in 2014 that weren't in the marketplace in 2013. And I think a lot of people have gone away on Christmas holidays. They've thought about real estate. They've come back. They've started looking for property. And it's hot on the topic and hot on the minds of many.
Yeah, okay. You had an interesting, amongst your many auctions today, you had a very interesting one at Lilyfield.
We did. Actually, it was a big day for the Inner West. Many of our 46 auctions were Inner West properties. One really interesting result was that we sold a property at number 12 Starling Street in Lilyfield, and it was Mark Evans, the former bass guitarist for AC/DC.
Uh-huh.
So for all the fans out there, Mark was there at the auction. And
it would have been a bit of an attraction in his own right.
Well, absolutely. And to make things even more interesting, he pulled out a guitar and he signed the guitar and he gave it to the purchaser.
Ah, fantastic!
And, so that was a great bonus for the purchaser.
What did the purchaser?
I
was going to say, what did the purchaser pay for the guitar? And they got the house thrown in. So 1.32 million.
1.320, yeah.
$1.32 million for a signed guitar by Mark Evans from AC/DC.
And most expensive guitar paid in history.
And you get the house for free. How about that?
It's free, absolutely.
Where else did you see some significant results today?
Balmain was an interesting suburb today. We had 8 properties go to auction in Balmain today, and we sold 7, which was really, really strong. Some good sales right across the Inner West. We took a property to auction this afternoon in Caroline Street in Balmain. It was marketed on behalf of Cobden and Hayson Real Estate. Peter Gordon was the agent. 6 Caroline Street, Balmain. And it sold for $1,276,000, which was above the vendor's expectations. And some really just strong results right across the Inner West. LJ Hooker Concord had another really big day today with a couple of big sales in the Inner West. So we can see that Inner West market has actually come back a little bit earlier than, say, the eastern suburbs and potentially even the North Shore with auctions that are being conducted right now.
Damien, you're saying 70-odd% clearance rate today. Was that under the hammer? What's the split between what is being sold under the hammer and what's being sold, after the auction and with a bit of negotiation?
Yeah, it's a good point. There are quite a few properties that sell before auction, so that 74% includes properties that have sold before auction, but it also includes properties that were withdrawn from auction today that didn't actually get auctioned. Interestingly, when you look at the clearance rate of properties that under the hammer, so properties that go to auction and sell, it's reasonably similar to where it is at the moment, slightly less than the clearance rate overall. But there are quite a few properties that don't end up going to auction. They might be sold beforehand, they might be withdrawn, and those properties, whilst they're included in the clearance rate, can affect it.
Well, interest rates still sitting where they have been now for a while, so anyone that's half inclined to sell their property at the moment really should make that decision, move forward and make it happen, because there ain't no time like the present. Damien Cooley, good to talk to you.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks, mate. Damien Cooley from Cooley Auctions joining us on this Saturday night, 28 minutes to 7. This is the Clubhouse, thanks to 50 Up Club. Love is in the air when you open a bottle of De Bortley. I love De Bortley. I love the De Bortley family. I love Warwick Brook from De Bortley. I just love everything about them, really, because they're a sponsor on a Saturday night and they make fabulous wine, and that's why we thoroughly enjoy talking about them and endorsing their product, because they support us and we should support them. A great Australian winemaker making great award-winning Australian wines, De Bortley. When I was just talking to John Paul Young about the dinner that we both attended on Thursday night at the old St Pat's, the hotel management and catering school, I think it's called these days, college over there at Manly. Another one of the very special VIP guests was the Prime Minister's wife, Margie Abbott. What a lovely lady. I've never met her before. And she is a star. Gee, we're lucky to live in a country where, even though we quibble about things from time to time and we think we're getting various freedoms taken away from us and all the rest of it, and I made this comment on the night, I was the MC for the gig, and I said, here we are gathered here to have an awards ceremony and a dinner and all the rest of it, and we've got the First Lady of Australia sitting here, our version of Michelle Obama, Margie Abbott, sitting there at a table and, no wall-to-wall security or blokes standing around with AK-47s. And she was fabulous, and only too happy to talk to everyone and, have photos taken, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, lovely lady indeed. And I did fess up. I told her that I'm a stalker. I'm a big fan, actually. I just think I just love the way she operates, her and the daughters. It'd be a hard gig, being married to the Prime Minister, whoever the Prime Minister of the day is. It would be a hard gig, can you imagine? Because you're always going to be pointed out as being the Prime Minister's wife. Doesn't matter whether people like your husband or whether they don't, you are the Prime Minister's wife. Let's talk about a way to relax, because I think it's something that a lot of us like to do or would like to do more of, but probably don't know quite how to go about it. And I see that there is a meditation school that is running courses in, the benefits of meditation, what meditation is all about, how to meditate. And why do people meditate? So I thought we'd find out a little bit more about it. Manu is a teacher from the Shiva School of Meditation and joins us tonight on the show. Good day, Manu.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Let's start by just, I guess, getting you to explain what, meditation is. What is the art form of meditation and why do we do it, or why should we do it?
Well, there are lots of stereotypes about meditation, but fundamentally, when you sit to meditate, you start to move into a spot where you're exploring what's going on in your inner world. So when you sit down, it's similar to when you're going to sleep. Things that have been happening to you during the day will come up. Anything that might have annoyed you, and basically, meditation is a way of sitting with those things and being present to them and finding a way of bringing them to peace. And so, one way of saying it is to let go of things, but it's not always doing that. The process can be more active than that too.
Shiva Yoga, which is what you guys call your school, the Shiva School of Meditation and Yoga, but yes, Shiva Yoga is, as you say on your website, a spiritual path that seeks to transform and uplift thought, feeling, health, and spirituality, and it's all about awakening your inner self, right?
That's right.
And, the term yoga, we often refer to, yoga as being the physical side of things, the twisting your arms and legs around the place and, getting into classical postures and what have you.
Well, it's a very old word. It's been used in many different ways. I know it's currently used that way, but yoga is really a way of, what would you say? It really means, the word means yoke. Yeah. And so you link yourself to the power of, in fact, the power of your own inner self. And so it's really connecting you. In yoga, you connect yourself to that still point in you. And Hatha Yoga, the postures, all of those practices are also designed to help let go of blocks and, attentions that we hold in our body. And so they also help us to relax and to take us to a calmer, more peaceful state where we're more integrated.
So, and that's kind of a funny conundrum in itself, because I think of Simon and Garfunkel's song, The Sounds of Silence, and meditation to me is all about, I suppose, silencing the mind. I don't know whether that's a correct statement or not, but it's slowing yourself down to the point where it is silent and you're silent. And is it at that point when your mind is silent and there's nothing sort of racing around there, is that when your powers of concentration and whatever else are more heightened?
Oh, I think that's absolutely true. One of the basic processes is to be present to what's going on with you, and to continue to do that, you're learning to develop a focus, a concentration, a skill of being present to what's going on, a skill of not running away from what you're dealing with. And, in that strength, that emotional and mental strength that you gain from that process of just sitting, then this gives you like a stability. This stability, you can look at meditation as an idea of just stilling the mind, but that can lead you to the idea of thinking that you have to sort of beat your mind into submission. And that's really generally not an effective way of working to meditate.
Okay.
You need to find cunning means, intelligent means of dealing with your mind and your emotion and what's going on with your world in order to come to a point of being peaceful.
But I'm assuming as well, Manu, that it's also dependent to some extent on the location that you choose to do your meditation in, the time that you choose to do your meditating. So there's I guess a number of ingredients that all come into play here.
Well, yeah, those things are true. So, I also work as a school teacher, and to be in a group of people that are all striving towards the same thing, it often really helps you to develop skills in whatever it is that you're trying to develop. So to be in a school where other people are learning to meditate can be very helpful, and to be around other people who meditate is obviously helpful and beneficial.
Okay, in terms of, let's talk demographics here. Is it something that you find people of all ages get involved in, or is it of particular interest to a particular demographic?
Well, we have a regular program here that people are gathering for it tonight, and we have a mixture of people from all sorts of all ages. But there are quite a few teenagers here, and there are people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We have a lot of different people coming and going, and I think that there's a general interest, and I think an interest in meditation is spreading. I think because people recognise that it has so many benefits for dealing with anxiety and stress in our everyday lives, and people realise that it's also a way of empowering themselves in their lives. Yeah,
and I guess with all the different things we've got happening in our lives these days, and all the various distractions and pressures, and a lot of it man-made too, I must say. I think we bring a lot of it on ourselves. I suppose it's a great way to try and find that little bit of relief to just slow down and smell the roses.
Well, there's that too, and apart from actually setting aside some time for doing that, the actual process of it will start. As you practice meditation, you gain strength in being able to balance yourself on the go. I personally find that meditation, the energy of meditation and the awareness that it brings really helps me in my everyday work and my everyday relationships.
Yeah, good. With courses that, like you guys run courses there at the Shiva School of Meditation and Yoga, what is the duration typically of a course? Couple of days?
Well, we usually run a 4-week course, but it's just a couple of hours in an evening. Yeah. So once a week. Yeah. There would be 4 sessions.
Yep. Okay.
And that would give you a good grounding, and we teach a variety of different techniques that you can use.
Yeah, and carry with you for the rest of your life, no doubt. Listen, thank you for giving us some time tonight. I realise that you are busy because you've got courses happening over the weekend, and you've got a course about to kick off tonight. Thank you for having a chat to us.
You're very welcome. Thanks.
Manu is a teacher at the Shiva School of Meditation, and if you wanted to find out more about the Shiva School of Meditation, you can simply check out their website at shivaschoolofmeditation.com. It's 16 minutes to 7. China Eastern Airlines have one of the most modern fleets of aircraft in the world, and they've also got some red-hot prices too when it comes to international airline tickets. If you're doing some airline travel, international airline travel, I should say, in the next few months, you should check out China Eastern Airlines because they've got some great deals at the moment. Check out their website, have a chat to them, and if you travel through one of their hubs, like Shanghai, for example, you can also take advantage of a 72-hour visa-free stopover, which means that you've got up to 3 days to have a wander around what is an incredible country, as many of us are going to discover when they come with me in June for our China getaway trip. We're going up there for 10 or 11 fabulous nights. Can't wait. And in fact, if you book air travel with China Eastern for departures before the end of March, you'll go into the draw to win a place with us on that trip. So about $5,500 worth of value, travelling business class and flying with our mates at China Eastern Airlines. I was just checking on the net, and the Sydney Morning Herald's reporting that we were just speaking before to Damien Cooley about the real estate market and how busy it still is. There was an auction today in Surrey Hills, inner city Surrey Hills, Macalone Place. Over the years, it says home to alley cats, eccentrics, drag queens, award-winning gardens and advertising executives. It was a scene for a very lively auction today in which a tiny, unrenovated, one-bedroom cottage on just 51 square metres of land, where you have to step outside the back door to use the bathroom, was sold, believe it or not, for $745,000. How about that? $745,000. Crikey. Does make you wonder when you hear people talk about the fact that it's going to get harder and harder and harder, or seems to be getting harder and harder for young people to be able to buy property to live in the same location as where they grew up. And I suppose it's it's relative. I always think it is relative to the age. You know, like I remember my dad saying that to me years ago, back in the late 70s. You know, you're never going to be able to afford to live around here because it's too expensive. But you go out and you work hard and you get a job and save your money. And I suppose it seems that property is becoming more and more expensive. But is it becoming impossible for young people to stay in the same area? I guess to some extent it probably is. But then I think there's also a changing demand from the younger generation too in relation to buying property. I still see many of them being quite comfortable with the whole concept of renting rather than buying. I saw a very unique business advertised on the net during the week. Very unusual in the sense that it offers a rather one-of-a-kind sort of a opportunity to have a hand-painted oil done on canvas from a photograph. So you think about this. You get a photograph taken, or you've got a photograph of, something. It might be you on your last overseas holiday, or it might be a nice portrait of the family or your sons or your daughters or whoever it might be, and you want to get that turned into a beautiful piece of art. Well, you can. A company called WePaintYourPortrait.com. Harry Hughes is the man behind it, and he joins us on the show this morning tonight to tell us all about it. G'day, Harry. I wish it was still morning.
Yes, it almost is, I suppose. But, thanks, Glenn.
I seem to have lost the day. It's a great concept, this, because this is all about, as I explained there, it's really as simple as turning a nice photograph into a piece of living art.
Yes, well, it was some years ago, and I thought of exactly that. I thought that everyone has photos, but not everyone has a lovely painting in the family. And so I started with a website, and I started telling people about it, and it grew and grew and grew, and obviously the more paintings we did that were hanging on people's walls, people would come and say, well, who did that? Where did that? Yeah. And it's such a nice idea because...
Harry, can we just get you to take a step to the left or the right, because that phone is giving us a bit of grief.
Oh, okay.
That's better?
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we started it, and the more people that had portraits done, the more, well, that's the way it used to be back then, when before cameras, of course, that's the way people recorded images and their family and their lives, and it's coming back, and we're finding we can get photos of people, several families, family photos that may be even separate, and we can join them together.
Yes, yeah. And I think for people to get the full idea of what this is all about, they need to have a look at the website, which is wepaintyourportrait.com. Because I had a look at the website today, and I was blown away by some of the images. One in particular of an old digger, and and the photograph is just a nice photograph of him. But the way it has been painted with the Australian flag behind him as a backdrop, and really special. And you can imagine a piece of art like that hanging in somebody's home. It's a memory that'll just live forever and a day and be passed on to through generations.
Yeah, well, thank you, Glenn. Now, let me tell you quickly the story behind that. I was at Anzac Day at the march, and we were just talking to the family, and their grandfather was marching away there, and we were telling the family and the grandkids and so on what we did, and the grandkids said, "Oh, let's get a painting of Grandad." So we went to his house the following week, got him back in his uniform and the pretense of something, and took a photo of him in his lounge room and with furniture. But instead of that, when we painted his portrait, we put the beautiful sunset in and the flag, and he cried. He was absolutely thrilled. And
Lovely.
You know what? Last Anzac Day, I got a lovely email from the family saying that he passed on.
Oh, right.
But they were going to donate the portrait to the War Memorial in Canberra with a story.
Fabulous.
And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, that is fabulous. That's a great story.
It is lovely. And anyone that has served in the armed forces, they may have an old black and white or sepia photo. We can bring it to life. And that's what I love doing. And people send me things, and the feedback is wonderful.
And might I say too that the prices are I think very realistic when you're talking about artwork. I mean, you can spend thousands of dollars to get artwork commissioned to have specific artworks done, whether it's portraits or whatever. And what you're offering is I think very realistic. All the details are there on the website. Probably best if people.
We try to give people, and particularly the artists, we give them work, and in return for them, being able to get ongoing work and to improve their skill, that's the way we do it, because then they're working where they don't have to pay thousands, but then it's reasonable.
Yeah, no, it's very good, and ideal for all occasions. And you don't need to have an occasion; just find a nice photo and get it done. I'll send people your way. I'm quite sure they'll have a look at the website tonight, and I reckon once they've checked it out, they'll be flooding the phone lines. Harry, thanks for chatting to us.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Glenn.
Good on you, mate. Harry Hughes is his name. wepaintyourportrait.com. Have a look at the website. It's fascinating.